During all the time I lived in New York City, I came to believe that New York was the ultimate urban experience. It was the biggest, the most important city on the planet. Big in every respect. Hell, they even wrote countless songs about it. It's said that after living there in New York for a little while, you start walking faster, talking faster, and you recognize it's about that time that one becomes a New Yorker. You know, there's the grandeur of Tokyo, the intensity of Sao Paolo, the elegance of London, the romance of Paris, the hustle of Bangkok and the vibrancy of Mumbai. And in all my travels, I hadn't experienced a city to rival it. And as I said, you know, I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Sao Paolo, I've been to London, I've been to Paris, Bangkok, Mumbai. Lots of the biggest urban centres in the world. And even though I did that, you know, in my mind, New York was still the one that ruled them all. That was until I went to Shanghai in China. As the wheels of the Swiss Airbus jet kissed the tarmac in Shanghai, I had a rush of anticipation surging through me like the city's own electric pulse. I journeyed right around the world from my Sydney home to the USA, and then to the sun-drenched beaches of Tamarindo in Costa Rica. Coming back via Zurich, and after a brief stay in exciting Barcelona, I'd arrived in the futuristic skyline of Shanghai. So first impressions were a stark contrast to not just the geographic, but sensory cultural leap from the serene to the electric. My voyage had been a symphony of the skies, a business-class ballet that Swiss Air orchestrated with the precision of a Swiss watch. From the sapphire embrace of Sydney Harbour, I was whisked to the sun-kissed sprawl of Los Angeles, then to the sultry Cuban rhythms of Miami before touching down in the verdant oasis that is Tamarindo, Costa Rica.
11:20 in Costa Rica, 2013, on the beach.
And with each leg of this marathon journey, it was pretty smooth, except for one dissonant note, an unfortunate lapse by a Swiss staffer who had set the tone for my arrival in Shanghai. The journey from Costa Rica to Zurich was a pretty uneventful one. I'd finally got to Miami International Airport. Then up into the skies again, where the clouds outside seemed to be an extension of the comfort of the seat within. Swiss Air business class is very Swiss. It's nothing too fancy, but it does tend to, run like a Rolex watch. In Zurich, the transition of 4 hours was as smooth as the surface of a lake at dawn. I loved Barcelona, in contrast, was a whirlwind of colour and life. A brief dalliance with the old world before venturing back into the complexity of modernity of China. Somewhere between the cobbled streets of Barcelona and the gleaming towers of Shanghai, my luggage had decided to embark on an adventure of its own, leaving me without the arsenal and protection of a warm coat. I was to face the biting cold of Shanghai in the thin clothes on my back, a pair of jeans, one t-shirt, and a very thin polar fleece, a stark reminder of the fragility of even the best laid plans. Arrival at Shanghai Pudong International Airport is akin to stepping into a vision of the future. The sheer scale of the airport is a prelude to the vastness of the city itself. It was 10 times the size of the biggest airport I'd ever seen before. And everything around me, despite the size, was pristine and orderly, a spotless expanse of efficiency. I looked for security people and they were conspicuously missing, though I was sure that they were watching everything unseen. Immigration was a dance of biometrics and stamps, a series of cues that moved with an almost rhythmic precision, a testament to China's prowess in handling the waves of people who come to marvel at its crown jewel. Consigned not to stress about my lost belongings, sure they'd turn up somewhere, I stepped onto the bullet train bound for Pudong, the city's futuristic downtown district. The train was a sliver of silver, a silent promise of a speed that was made good the moment we pulled away from the station. And it banked like a roller coaster, and the 14 kilometres to the city were travelled in what seemed like a blink of an eye. Shanghai flashed past in a blur, the cold outside no match for the warmth inside the carriage. The moment of truth came as I ascended the subway escalators up into the heart of Shanghai. It was a sensory overload. The jagged skyline, a rhythm of steel and glass, the air filled with a cacophony of sounds. It was both unfamiliar and thrilling. Shanghai stood before me, not just a city, but a living, breathing entity, its veins throbbing with the pulse of millions. I was kind of in shock. It was like 6 Manhattans, and they were 360 degrees all around me. The cold bit at my skin, but the energy of the city ignited the fire within. This was Shanghai, a place where the past and the future not only coexist, but they dance a delicate tango on the stage of the present. And thus began my journey through the Dragon's Lair, a tale of lost luggage and found wonders, a story that I was eager to weave into the tapestry of this film series. Shanghai, with all its contradictions, was about to unfold before me, and I was ready to embrace it, with or without my belongings. The French concession was my choice of home base, and it exuded a charm that was both unexpected and enchanting. As I strolled through the tree-lined avenues and the whispers of leaves above seemed to tell stories of a bygone era. It was the architecture of a melange of East meets West, European-style villas and Art Deco buildings, pagodas, standing as silent guardians amidst the history, amidst the modern buzz of Shanghai. It was like stepping back into some Parisian dream of the 1800s, but with a Shanghainese twist. Every corner brought forth quaint boutiques, inviting cafes in the quiet hum of a city that respects its past while we're racing towards the future. And nestling within this historic district was the chic sanctuary I'd chosen as my abode, the hotel I'd booked. It was called the Xintiandi 88. And the moment I stepped into its embrace, the chill of being clothesless or warm coatless in Shanghai melted away. And the hotel was an epitome of cool. It was the perfect fusion of Shanghai's rich heritage and the avant-garde present. The lobby was an artwork in itself, with sleek lines and understated elegance, whispered luxury rather than shouting it. And everywhere I looked, it was full of exquisite furniture, Chinese period pieces and art. There were displays of ceramics, emperor chairs, Ming vases. It was stunning and really authentically Indochine cool. And the warmth of the staff's welcome made me forget the misadventure with my luggage, at least momentarily. My room was a haven of comfort with floor-to-ceiling windows, offering a panoramic view of the vibrant life outside, while inside, every detail was curated to create a unique atmosphere of understated opulence. Shanghai is a vibrant and exciting city, and it offers a wealth of experience for visitors. From historic landmarks and cultural attractions to modern skyscrapers and bustling shopping districts. It seems there's something for everyone in this dynamic city. Day one, my first day's adventure led me to the Bund, Shanghai's iconic waterfront promenade, where the city's colonial past stands face to face with its futuristic skyline. The juxtaposition was breathtaking. The historic buildings along the Wangpu River, remnants of the international settlement era, stood proudly as across the water, the skyscrapers of Pudong soared into the clouds, each a beacon of China's emerging economic might. Lunch was an affair to remember at the famous M on the Bund. And it was a restaurant famed internationally, owned by Michel Gono, a fellow Melburnian who I know. And the restaurant was a style mecca. It was a culinary institute, a landmark that had set the standard for fine dining in Shanghai for decades. And its recent closure had many hearts longing. But the memories of the flavours and the panorama from its terrace remained etched in the minds of all of those who ever had a chance to experience its magic. Now, Michel Gono, who was the founder of the fabulous M restaurant on the Bund, has an amazing story. And it's a real tragedy that it's an end of an era for the Bund and its glam bar and their swan song. She said, "I feel we've done something really special by bringing the cultures and ages. And it's still one of the things we are most proud of," she said. Michel Gono is Order of Australia and Chief Executive of the M Restaurant Group, which opened M on the Bund in 1999 January, and alas, announced its closing February 15th, after 23 years of serving great food and glam joy. This chic, glam dining lounge and bar is closing the same day. M on the Bund was the first independent venue on the Bund when the whole riverfront was a culinary desert. Gono signed the lease on the 7th floor of the Bund 5, the Nissan shipping building, in 1998, after making the risky decision to open the restaurant at a time when her restaurant in Hong Kong, M at the Fringe, was the highest rated restaurant in all of Hong Kong. Going up the elevator, M on the Bund had welcomed me with a fusion of flavours. It wasn't just the food, but it was the best of East and West met out on a plate. Every dish was a masterpiece, the celebration of fresh ingredients and bold flavours. Whilst the food was great, I could not help but marvel at the view. The outdoor terrace, even though it was winter and I was freezing, you had to go out there. In front of me, the river was a shimmering ribbon, and beyond the futuristic skyline reaching for the heavens, it was a moment of perfect juxtaposition. Sitting in the historical warmth of the M while gazing up at the cold steel of modernity. Lunch at M on the Bund was not just a meal, it was a moment in time, a sensory feast that encapsulated the essence of Shanghai. A city of contrasts, of history, of a future so bright it dazzled. And my fellow Melburnian had created more than just a restaurant. She'd created a cultural landmark that even today, in its absence, continues to be a symbol of the city's vibrant cosmopolitan heart. From the alfresco terrace at M on the Bund, the view of Pudong was nothing short of theatrical, a panoramic stage where the future was not just envisioned, but lived. And as I stepped out onto the terrace, the crisp air of Shanghai brushed against my skin, a stark contrast to the warmth of the restaurant's interior. Yet it felt invigorating, alive with the pulse of the city. And before me, Pudong stretched out like a canvas of modern urban artistry. It was a skyline that seemed to defy gravity, a testament to human ambition etched against the sky. The Oriental Pearl Tower, with its distinctive sphere and spires, pierced the heavens, an icon of Shanghai's rapid ascent. It stands like a beacon amongst the cluster of architectural marvels, its LED lights twinkling like stars caught in a metallic web. And surrounding the Pearl Tower, there's a legion of skyscrapers, all reaching upwards with their unique silhouette. There's the Shanghai World Financial Centre, unmistakable with its trapezoid aperture at the summit. There must be whispered tales of commerce and trade within the sleek spiralling form of the Shanghai Tower as it twists towards the clouds, a symbol of the city's unyielding drive to reach higher, to be bolder. The day gave way to the enchantment of twilight. Pudong panorama transformed. The buildings, already impressive by daylight, became a symphony of light. Windows and facade light up in a dazzling display of LEDs, neon, and floodlights, creating a visual concerto that echoes the beating heart of Shanghai. The Wangpu River mirrored the spectacle, its surface a dance floor for the reflections of Pudong's grandeur. Barges and tour boats gliding across its waters, carrying spectators eager to witness the show. The view of Pudong was not merely a backdrop, it's kind of a living, breathing entity, a display of human ingenuity, a beacon of progress and a bold declaration of Shanghai's place on the world stage. It was a sight to stir the soul, a reminder that this city of the future was the only constant was change and the only limit was the sky. Stepping out at night into the French concession from my hotel for the first time was mind-blowing. It was like walking into a juxtaposition of time and luxury. Historical ambience of the day had transformed with the falling dusk to creating a dazzling display of affluence and modernity. The air was cool, no cold, and filled with the buzz of Shanghai's nocturnal energy. A symphony of sounds from the city life blending seamlessly with the soft murmur of conversation as my friend and I ventured on into the heart of the quarter. European-style villas nestled amongst pagodas and tree-lined avenues had by night taken on a new persona, all lit with fairy lights. It was as if the area's colonial past had been set alight by the contemporary flair of Shanghai's economic boom. The chic historical architecture that whispered stories of the past now served as a dramatic backdrop to the futuristic luminescence of the many luxury giant flagship stores. It was a visual feast to behold. There was Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, Cartier, Emilia Zegna. All these high-end brands have turned their stores into monuments of modern opulence, each one vying for the attention with their elaborate displays. The whole building is wrapped in neon and LED panels. And the grandiosity of these buildings was not just their size, but their ability to stand out amidst the classical elegance of the French concessions, creating an almost surreal tableau that was hard to reconcile. Their facades were real canvases showing the marriage of technology with design, with animated displays that highlighted their latest collections. They were kind of like mobile artwork billboards. They were emblems of fashion and wealth, glowing with a vibrancy that I'd never seen before. And it seemed to draw the chic and elite of Shanghai like moths to a flame. And as my friend and I, we walked amongst the glow of these temples of commerce, they cast a soft glow on the cobblestone streets. And the shadows of the plane trees danced along the sidewalks. A natural counterbalance to the man-made brilliance above. It was a shock to the senses, this blending of old world charm with this unabashed celebration of modern consumerism. French concession by night had become a stage where history met high fashion, where the serene allure of the past was given a neon-kissed tribute by the present. The stark contrast spoke volumes of Shanghai itself, a city that revered its history while simultaneously embracing the forefront of global trends and luxury. And as I absorbed the scenery, it was clear that this was a place where East truly met West. I know you hear that a lot. Where the lines between tradition and innovation were not just blurred, were beautifully intertwined. The French concession at night was an experience that would linger in my memory, a vivid reminder of Shanghai's unique ability to surprise and captivate.
In 80 days, adventurer and award-winning filmmaker Paul G. Roberts retraces the global footsteps of Phileas Fogg, hero of Jules Verne's most famous work,